Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we are doing a 2026 Dynasty Startup Mock Draft in today's stream. I appreciate y'all coming out tonight and having some fun and hanging out on a Thursday night. It's actually Friday morning for me, but we are currently in Thursday night in America. Let me know who I'm hanging out with here. What's up, Pablo? What's up, Double Agent Zom is in the building. Quite a few people asking how they can get into tonight's startup mock draft. I'll just tell you, step one is going to be to join the Discord. If you're watching this later, there is a link to the Discord in the description. If you're watching this live, I will have Nightbot Discord. Put a link in the chat for you. Chris says, I saw another live stream that people can upload their roster and potentially their entire league for you to get feedback. I've been running the same league for 23 years. How do I send my roster? That's a great question as well, my friend. I do have a team playbook currently in the queue for tonight. Over here at Land, we have a product called the Team Playbook, which is a customized review of your Dynasty football team. And I'll tell you, the absolute best way to get a team playbook is by becoming a promo code LAND annual Mother Flocker member. That will give you a voucher that you can use through the Flock store. If you're a member of a different promo code, you can also obviously get a team review through the a la carte option as well. But I'll go ahead and put that link in the pinned comment, my friend, in case you want to reference it later on. What's up, Jeb in the building? He says 2 weeks until the NFL draft, which that is true. It's also absolute chaos to think about. 2 weeks until the NFL draft. My gosh. What's happening, Mike in the building? Good to see you, my friend. What's up, Jaden, I believe. What's up, Cryptic Rocket? Good to have you guys here. Sparrow in the building. What's up, Pablo? What's up, Rioza? Appreciate y'all hanging out here tonight. I did ask a question to start the stream. My question was, choose a tight end for Dynasty. And I gave you guys 4 options in the poll. The options were Sam Laporta, Harold Fannon, Tucker Kraft, and Kyle Pitts. I want to get your votes in the chat there. But first, we will obviously get into this draft and we'll have it start filling up. We'll do a private draft that I will create. We'll do a Dynasty Superflex startup draft. We'll only do 30 seconds on the clock. Nothing too crazy today. We'll do full point PPR. And we'll do a start. Let's start 10. Okay. So if you want to join today's mock drafts, obviously step 1 is to create a free account on the Flock site using the code LAND at sign up. Second step is to join our Discord. In our Discord, you will see the mock drafts channel. Okay. So right here is where I'm going to send the link. Anytime we do a mock draft on the channel, the link will be sent here. So I'll just say right here so you guys can see it. All right, that's exactly where it's going to be pasted. And let me go ahead and choose a spot that I want to draft from first. We'll go with the 108 here. We'll just kind of go right towards the back end of the class. So I'm going to go ahead and paste that link there. It is first come, first serve. Oh, wow, 7 people are already there reacting to the comment. Here we go. It'll be a first come, first serve type of scenario. While that's filling up, let's talk tight ends. Now, the whole reason I even wanted to have this conversation, guys, is because I released a video, not today, but yesterday, and I talked about one of my favorite breakouts for 2026. And the breakout that I mentioned was Harold Fannon Jr. I got some pushback, which I was a little bit surprised by. I mean, I'll show you guys the exact video I'm talking about. This is make these moves in Dynasty before it's too late. This video, okay? It was a Wheel of Dynasty type of video. And I was a little bit surprised. I mean, Harold Fannon is my favorite tight end breakout of 2026. I just didn't expect there to be really any pushback. I thought that for the most part, us as a Dynasty community were on the same page. And there were a lot of comments that were saying, you know, are you crazy, Zach? Sam Laporta still exists. He's on a good offense. There were people who were saying Harold Fannon is the most obvious sell high. He had X amount of games under 50 receiving yards. You know, the Cleveland Browns suck. And I just found it so interesting that we have a 3rd round rookie tight end which I know we've had rookie tight ends recently who have performed well. Okay, I understand that. Sam Laporta, Brock Bowers. I mean, we're starting to get a little bit spoiled with how these rookie tight ends are starting to perform. But I was a little surprised by some of the pushback, and I just want to have a discussion here to begin today's stream before we jump into that startup mock draft and say, why are people anti-Harold Fannon? I genuinely don't understand why people would be anti-Harold Fannon. You've got a Cleveland Browns team that was basically bottom 3 in quite literally every stat for offensive production in 2025. I mean, you can go back and look at it. Yards per play, scoring rate on their drives, total yards per game, passing yards per game. I mean, this was truly one of the worst offenses in the entire NFL. And yet we had a guy in Harold Fannon who, by the way, before the year, nobody thought would produce like this. And let's be honest, even if you were a Harold Fannon guy last year and you liked him as a prospect, when he was a third-round pick, you have to be honest with yourself, you didn't think he was going to produce the way he did here this year as a rookie. Why? Well, that's because everybody, and I mean everybody, was drafting David Njoku over him in redraft leagues. People thought Njoku was going to be the tight end one. And Njoku was coming off a great season. Njoku wasn't some scrub heading into the 2025 year. I mean, if you guys may have forgotten, he actually had his best career year in 2024, averaging 13.5 points per game. Okay? So Harold Fannon dethroned him, and it didn't take a long time. Like, he very quickly dethroned him. So I'm surprised that there's a lot of people who are anti-Harold Fannon. I see a rookie tight end who, if you look at his averages, which was 4.5 receptions per game, 45 receiving yards per game. If you look at the targets per game, if you look at all tight ends who have had those averages as rookies since the year 2000, about 2.5 decades, he is one of 5 names. And those other 5 names are Brock Bowers. We're looking at Jeremy Shockey's of the world. I mean, he had, in my opinion, a very impressive year. And I don't think that, oh no, if the Browns draft Carnell Tate, what's happening to Harold Fannon? Are you kidding me? That would be awesome. Please draft a receiver that can stretch the field, that can allow Harold Fannon to operate in the middle of the field there in that 10 to 15 yard zone. I would absolutely love that. I think Harold Fannon is set for a huge breakout. I mean, when you're talking about a floor as an offense, you look at the Cleveland Browns and say, that's the floor. You can't be worse than one of the worst offenses in the NFL, which is what they were last year. So that really, in my opinion, is the floor. So looking at the chat right now, 70 votes. 49% of people are saying Harold Fannon. And this is what maybe it's just because our live stream community is a little bit more in tune with myself. You guys like hanging out with me. This is what I thought the results would be, but I was just surprised in that video how many people were anti-Harold Fannon, calling him like the biggest sell high. So this poll seems more accurate to me. 48% of you voted for Harold Fannon. 41% of you voted for Tucker Kraft. 10% for Laporta and 1% for Kyle Pitts. I'm not sitting here saying that Fannon's a lock to outproduce anyone else on that list, but I thought we would be on the same page as well. And it looks like the live stream is maybe not the viewership on YouTube. What do you guys have to say about that? Let's see. T. Gotzi says, call me crazy, but Fannon's overrated. New regime, not an every down player. Not much a difference between him and Gadsden, who's way cheaper. Man, I don't agree with that, though. But I respect the opinion. I don't agree with that. I also think people are overthinking this new regime. Todd Monken has a vast history of utilizing tight ends, all the way going back to Brock Bowers at Georgia, if I'm not mistaken. Someone call me out if I am mistaken. But if worried about Stefanski being gone, I mean, Todd Monken's not a bad replacement to utilize a tight end there. Deshaun Watson could be in play. We'll have to wait and see on that. But Shedeur Sanders, if he is a starter, Harold Fannon has higher averages with Shedeur Sanders than any other quarterback last year for the team. Killer says, I just think Fannon will face higher competition and was the product of a bad offense. Okay, I can respect that. Let's see. Dylan says, I sprinted to the waivers to pick him up after our rookie draft. I have faith in him. I like it. Scribble says, I can't imagine how anyone can act like last season was maybe the best case scenario. He had to split with Njoku. The offense was awful and barely scored any touchdowns. Yeah, I agree. Apes has been taking Fannon and underdog. You love to see it. Crypto says, of the 4 options you presented, I think the best buy is Kraft. I agree with that. I'll say just quickly, before we jump into the startup draft, is it full? It is full. Before we jump into the startup draft, I will agree with you there. I am Team Tucker Kraft. I'm definitely, these are 2 guys that I think I'm in on this offseason. A lot of people are going to claim with Tucker Kraft, hey, there's going to be touchdown regression. Sure, that's going to be a little bit up and down, but Romeo Doubs is gone. He was by far, before the injury, the number 1 weapon in that entire offense. In fact, again, there will be some regression with total touchdowns, but if you look from weeks 1 to 8 and you compare a Tucker Kraft to any of the other top tight ends in the NFL last year, I mean, you're looking at a group of Bowers, McBride, and Kraft is number 1 on that list in points per game, right? 16.2 points per game. We got to find a better way to showcase this. Okay, there we go. But still, why does it look like that? I don't know. I'll have to ask the Flock devs later on. So I'm definitely Team Tucker Kraft as well. And he should be ready to go week 1, in my opinion. Okay, couple announcements. We're going to jump into the startup mock draft. Appreciate y'all being here, hanging out. Couple of announcements that I have to make. Number 1, we are going to be raffling off the last spots for the Achilles League tonight. Okay, I have 6 remaining spots. 6 remaining spots and 6 only for the Achilles League. Obviously, if you're brand new here, you might not know this, but if you become a promo code LAND annual Motherflocker member, one of the many perks is a guaranteed spot in our leagues that we have here at Dynasty Land, along with the team playbook, the vouchers, all of that. But I do have 6 spots remaining in the Achilles League that will be raffled off in tonight's draft. If you have yet to sign up, obviously landleagues.com is your one-stop shop to be a part of a league that matters, and you can enter the Achilles League right now. It does say closing soon. You can see that, which is awesome. Again, 6 spots remaining, and closes in about an hour, right? It's just an estimation there, but definitely make sure that you get your entries in. If you're not a Land Annual Motherflocker member and you don't intend to become one, probably don't waste your time by signing up because you're not going to get in unless you are a member. This is a member-exclusive site. And also, if anyone out there is an absolute Dynasty degen, we announced on Monday that we did just release a orphan waitlist feature on landleagues.com, landleagues.com/waitlist. If you want to get into more land leagues that matter, that you can invest into, you want to take over some other leagues from other people, you can go ahead and enter your interest here. And if leagues ever become available, I'll be honest, they rarely do because we just run them well, whether it's myself or the commissioners that I pay to run our league. Shout out to Joel and Rowan. But if they do become available, you guys will be the first people that we'll reach out to. With that being said, because Achilles League is the league we're raffling off tonight, that is also the code word for today's giveaway. I'm giving away a Tier 1 live team playbook. All you have to do to enter is simply like the stream and then type today's code word, which is Achilles, okay? That is the very simple way to enter tonight's giveaway. Would love to have y'all get a shot at winning the prize here. Unfortunately, my mouse just died, so give me 1 second. You know, we can put people on the moon in 2025, but we can't build a mouse that has a battery life of more than, 10 hours or whatever it is at this point. I need to find a better mouse. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. This mouse is just not good enough. But yeah, last chance to get into the Achilles League tonight. So please, if you want to be a part of it, make sure you don't miss out on your opportunity. There will be no more opportunity after this. And again, if you want to get into a land league, you should have everything you need by now to be a part of it. And actually, I'm just realizing now on the back end, because we have someone else signed up, there's actually 5 spots remaining. 5 spots remaining now, because we did just have Proper, who's going to get locked in. So yes, 5 spots remaining for the Achilles League. make sure that you get your your signups in if you are interested. Okay, should we jump into the startup draft? Shout out to everybody who is joining me. Later on, we'll do some team reviews, some trade questions. Abe's got a team review here that we'll jump into as well. Well, let's go ahead and jump into this. This is a 12-team Superflex tight end premium startup mock draft, 30 seconds on the clock. And let's go ahead and run it here on the Flock site. As Josh Allen comes off the board at the 101, no surprise there. Yeah, I appreciate y'all hanging out here with me. Cryptic says, can't worry about battery life if you still have a wired mouse. Ooh. Maybe I should get a wired mouse. My desk is just so big. I have like one of these, you know, you guys probably can't see like what I'm trying to indicate right now, but like, okay, so my room, if my room is like in total this large, my desk is like this big. It's like a huge big boy that, you know, standing desk, all that kind of nonsense. Okay. So we've got Josh Allen, Bijan, Chase, Jason, Gibbs, Puka, and Drake May all coming off the board. Yeah, I mean, if I wasn't to go Jaden Daniels, I think it has to be Jaden Daniels here. I wouldn't be opposed to going a position there, like a running back or receiver, if there was one that I thought was worthy of being drafted over Daniels, but didn't see one personally. Still like the quarterbacks on the board there. This is a good question from GDC. Says 104 for Fannon and a tight end premium. Depends on what the premium is, my friend. I think it would need to be a significant premium. Like, I'm buying Fannon for the 106, 107 this year. I'm not buying him for a top 5 pick unless you have a full point premium. It's true. Daniels is far too old to go in round 1. Neighbors comes off the board at the 109. I'm a little concerned about some of the reports around Malik Neighbors, and specifically his availability to start the year. I don't know if I'm on my own there, if I'm on an island in thinking that, but it is slightly concerning. In fact, our guy Jeff Mueller, who we reach out to quite often about injury stuff, this was a report from Jordan Rannon, I think it was, who mentioned that star wide receiver Malik Neighbors getting on the field will likely be closer to training camp and the regular season, right? So Scotty Boo's ahead of Neighbors, and Jeff Mueller mentions this tracks with how Neighbors' progress has gone since surgery late October. Even if he's ready to return in July, August, they may slow play to ensure he's close to 100% as possible. Still wouldn't rule out being active week 1 at this stage. So it's just concerning that we're even having these conversations on, will he be ready to go week 1? Will he not? Obviously, you want them to, if you're a Malik Neighbors owner, you don't care if he's back week 1 or week 4. You just want him to be completely healthy. But it's a little bit concerning, not so much for Dynasty. Far more concerning, in my opinion, in redraft leagues or, you know, best ball tournaments, that kind of thing. So, yeah, a little bit concerning, in my opinion. Okay, after Neighbors goes off the board, we have Amon-Ra, the 101, Justin Jefferson, Ashton Genty, Lamar Jackson, CeeDee Lamb. And still like some of these quarterbacks. Man, y'all are going to make me make some difficult decisions here. Okay. Lamar Jackson off board at the 203. I like that start from Killer. Caleb Williams goes ahead of Joe Burrow. Caleb Williams is the quarterback 5 off the board. Jeez. It's between London for me, one of these tight ends, and Amarion Hampton. I'm going to grab Amarion Hampton here at the 205. And this looks a little bit like Sammy Stax' auction draft. If anybody remembers that from Monday. Yes, Jeff Mueller's, I mean, I'm always in his DMs asking, Jeff Mueller has got to be upset about the amount of times I asked about Bucky Irving last year, for example. Great guy, and really appreciate his contributions to the space. Basque says, what would you sell Travis Hunter for with the news saying he's going to be a full-time cornerback? Well, I would love for someone to link me to that report, unless it's just the same report that we've seen all offseason. But he's still a guy that I'd comfortably send any second in 2026 for, if you're able to do something like that. Yeah, look, guys, where is this report about Travis Hunter? Who tweeted it out? Who tweeted it out? That's what I want to know. Sparrow says 3 things guaranteed: death, taxes, and Zach's mouse dying. Unfortunately, you're not wrong. All right, so Joe Burrow goes at the 206. Look at Abe's start here. Drake May and Joe Burrow. What's funny is if the year was 2023, those guys would both probably be top 6 picks in a Superflex startup draft. We see Bowers at the 207, London at the 209, McBride at the 208, 209, Achane at the 210, McMillan, and then Patrick Mahomes. Didn't have a third round reversal on this one. We'll just kind of let it roll this time around. Matt says, I'm African American. Let's just give a shout out to Matt in the chat here. Welcome in, brother. Appreciate you hanging out with us. I'm American. Living in Australia. Welcome, everybody. All walks of life. Scribble says, there's been no news about Hunter. It's the same thing that we've seen all offseason. Okay. I mean, I'm open to reading a new report, though. Love the start here from JMO. Jamar Chase, Devon Achane, Jalen Hurts to start is nice. George Pickens at the 301, then the 102. Jackson Dart at the 304 is ridiculous. I love that. Absolutely love that value. Garrett Wilson coming off the board here. Justin Herbert. Colston Loveland. He's starting to sneak up these drafts. Too many good quarterbacks left for me to invest right here, right now. These are my rankings, are they? Yep. Yeah, I think we'll probably play it a little safe here and go Mr. Chris Olave. Start to add to that receiver room. Let Go says, some rando with a blue check said rap sheet said it, but I watched a clip and he didn't say that. There's a lot of... to be honest, there's a lot of clickbaity stuff lately on X. I mean, not just lately. That's not uncommon. But so often lately, I'll be on X scrolling and there'll be a little like quotations of what someone has said. And then you watch the video and you're like, he didn't say that at all. Why is that in quotations? Do people not understand how quotations work? Like my X is just filled with that, where people are like quoting a video that they're retweeting, and there's not like that quote doesn't exist in the video. Yeah. Rioza says, who's got the highest chance of losing value out of the already picked players? The highest chance of losing value. I mean, look, it's easy to say anybody in round 1. I mean, Amon-Ra and Justin Jefferson and CeeDee Lamb are pretty easy to point to, right? These are guys that will produce for you for the next 3 or 4 years at a high level. But each and every year, as they get older and older, you know, people are going to start looking at their age. And regardless of what they do, regardless of what numbers they put up, they will start to slightly slide in value and the way people perceive them to be valued, right? I mean, that's just inevitable, in my opinion. Egbuka at the 309, James Cook at the 310, Nico Collins coming off the board at the 311, Trevor the 103, and Bo Nix. So the 101 goes at the 111. We're seeing that quite often. In fact, really at this point, Jeremiah Love is the consensus 10 or RB3, excuse me, at this point of the life cycle of rookie running backs. And I don't think anything can really happen in the real NFL draft for that to change. I could be wrong, but that seems to be consensus at this point. Let me know if you guys have seen anything else, though, that I have maybe missed. But the 102 is right in that range of George Pickens, Jalen Hurts, Jackson Dart. The 103 is right in that sweet spot for those quarterback twos that you like to build around. Your Lawrence, Knicks, your Purdy's. I have to be honest, I love Killer start here, man. This is awesome. This is such a good start from him. A lot of people are asking me for a Travis Hunter reaction, but no one's giving me the link. I'm happy to react to the Travis Hunter news, but I don't know what news everyone's talking about. I haven't seen some, breaking report or anything. So once y'all hit me with whatever this news is, I would be happy to react to it. I guess the 104 is available. I'll grab the 104 here. Rap Sheet's is it literally Rap Sheet's most recent tweet? Let me have a look. Ian Rappaport. You guys are saying it's Ian Rappaport's latest tweet. Let's see. Ian Rappaport's pulling him up. The Jaguars' first round pick in 2026 is still Travis Hunter. Look at what's next for him and what they're... Is this what you guys are referring to, like this video? Do you want me to watch this video? Let me watch it. Let me listen to it. Yeah. I'm hearing what Rap is saying, guys. That's pretty much. I mean, I've used that report from I think it's Cameron Wolf, all the way back in January. So I don't think there's any new news here, y'all. Exactly what he says is full-time cornerback, part-time receiver. That news was tweeted out by Cameron Wolf, I think, in January. I remember using it in a piece of content. So I don't think anything is new there. So none of that is all that surprising to me. I don't think his price is going to change. It shouldn't change in Dynasty. I still think if you can buy him for a second-round pick in 2026, if you got your 201 to your 204 type of range, I would do it without hesitating, personally. But yeah, that video in particular has not swayed me either way. I've been very vocal, very open and honest in saying I can't tell you how much receiver he's gonna play. I said that even last year after the NFL draft. I can't tell you how much receiver my receiver's gonna play. I remember saying that consistently. So, but yeah, this hasn't really changed much for me. It's just another confirmation that yes, he is gonna play corner. I mean, we talked about it back in January. We were looking at their free agents in their secondary, and we were saying, guys, look, the GM. I mean, the GM had an even more damning press conference back in January. Again, talking about, I mean, the GM went and said, if you look at our roster, you look at where our needs are, the needs are clearly at secondary. So, yeah, I mean, that just not. I guess I'm just not really surprised by these reports. So what does it change for me? Nothing really. I think if anyone's telling you they're not nervous about where they have Travis Hunter ranked in Dynasty, they're probably lying to you. I have him ranked at wide receiver 28. And of course I'm nervous about it. Because again, as I said, even after the draft last year, I don't know how much receiver he's going to play. So of course, naturally, I'm a little bit nervous about thinking about how that might transpire. So, yeah, I mean, is that a fair answer? I mean, have I answered that well? Have I dodged the question? Let me know. Ben says, I think the point was there was just nothing changed from them. Okay, right, yeah. Yeah, best ball, he's fun. He's definitely a fun best ball option. I did try and buy him in a bunch of leagues, and I was sitting like seconds in a certain amount of players. Like I sent a ton of like 206 for Travis Hunter trades, 206 plus Tajay Spears, and in none of my leagues people people buy them. Here's the hard part though, because a lot of my leagues, obviously people watch my content, so it becomes really hard for me to buy players. I have to buy players that I like as buy lows before content releases, because then everyone's like, I saw your latest video, I'm not going to make this trade with you, Zach. And I'm like, damn, okay, fair enough. Okay, Javonte Williams comes off the board as RB12 to me. I am the highest on Javonte Williams of anybody on the Flock fantasy site, so this shouldn't be a surprise to anyone here. What's up, Ian? Says, hey, do you do team reviews on stream? If so, what's the avenue to obtain one? Yes, we absolutely do. In fact, I've already got Abe's, after today's startup draft, that's where we'll transition into some team reviews. I've got Abe here on deck for us. Damn it! I was watching Goff and Baker, and I was just hoping that they would come back in the 6th round. Give me 1 second. Let me make my pick, and I'll tell you exactly how you can get one today, Ian. Yeah, quarterback's a bit of a wasteland now. Okay, so we may have made a mistake. A.J. Brown off the board at the 603. I really thought between those two guys, Baker and Jared Goff, I am annoyed because I could have just drafted CMC in the 6th. Okay, I'm going to grab Harold Fannon here. We just talked about him in today's video. I'll acquire him. This is a tight end premium format at the 605. Okay, Ian. The best way to obtain a team review, which for me, by the way, we call it a team playbook, all right? Because I do review your team on a live stream, but then when the live stream concludes in about 3 to 4 business days, you get this beautiful graphic that basically covers everything that we did in the team review. You can use the promo code LAND on the Flock Fantasy site, become an annual Mother Flock member. That will give you a voucher that you can use through the Flock store, and then you just submit it through the a la carte option there with team reviews. Also, if you're a member of a different promo code, Ian, let's say you're already a member on the Flock site, then you can just buy one a la carte, completely up to you. I do think by far the best bang for your buck is becoming a promo code LAND annual Mother Flock member. Obviously, you get the team playbook, you get the live review on the stream, you get the game plan for your rookie draft, you get 6 trade question vouchers, but you also get premium access to landleagues.com. Landleagues.com is a site that I launched about 2 weeks ago, and it's specifically for people who want to be in Dynasty leagues that they can truly invest in. I've got a couple commissioners that I pay on a monthly basis to run these leagues. The whole goal was to create leagues that my community can invest their time and efforts into and know that there's longevity and know that you can be a part of it for the long run. There's way too many Dynasty leagues out there that start 1 year and then they fall apart within less than 365 days. So that's another feature, again, and we are actually doing a drawing tonight for the Achilles League, which, by the way, guys, that is tonight's code word for the giveaway. If you want to enter tonight's code word to win a playbook, all you have to do is like the stream, type Achilles into the chat. That is the code word for today in the very simple 2-step system to enter the giveaway. But yes, we will be raffling off the Achilles League here very, very soon. And anybody who is a brand new member gets a guaranteed spot in the latest league. But let me know if that answers your question, Ian. If you have any other questions, let me know. My friend would be happy to answer them. Can you guys stop drafting quarterbacks in round 7? Oh, my God. Oh, jeez, dude. I keep seeing all the guys I want to draft fall off the board. Well, we're just going to have to zig here. I think by far the best value is Jameson Williams on the board in the 7th round. I like the team, though. I mean, maybe we turn that 104 into a quarterback if this was a real league. I love the running back room that we've got. Not a huge fan of the receiver room. That's probably the weakest spot of the team. But, yeah, this entire round just cooked me entirely. It's crazy to see Kyler going in the 7th now. What's hard about some of these picks is, like, I bet Ingies and Zom would admit this. Drafting Stroud and Darnold feels so bad. It just feels so rough. You know, you're just like, damn, I guess I'm just filling a body. I need bodies on my team, and they are basically a body. Double Agent Son says, can't be a triple agent. Oh my gosh. Drew says, how stacked is it to have 7 guys in the first 7 rounds on your Dynasty team? Asking for a friend. Well, you, my friend, might end up being, we have what we call a Thanos when we do team reviews. It's less than 1% of all teams ever reviewed were a Thanos, but sounds like you could potentially be in that category, my dude. So Travis Hunter goes off the board here to Delage at the 7-12. Ing says, it didn't feel great, but like who's left in the 8th? Yeah, I get you. Honestly, Pitts and Laporta are pretty good values there in round 8. I mean, I go back and I look and I think, should I have taken Fannon there? Yeah, difficult to say. Some good values on the board. Cool Man says, I am so high on Kyler. It's insane. I don't see the downside. I wish I could. I think the only downside there really is if they don't sign him long term, then that probably means he didn't have a great year, and that probably means that he's not going to get a long term contract somewhere. That's the only downside that I could think of. But I agree. I have a lot of Kyler Murray on my teams, and I'm not at all upset about owning him this year. I mean, look, at this point, I am not the biggest Bashul Tutin guy. But at this point of the draft, in the 8th round, that seems reasonable to me. We did see him go in the 6th round of a real draft. And again, landleagues.com. Anybody can access this ADP, by the way. You don't have to be a member to access this ADP. But I remember that one league where Bashul Tutin, what league was that? It was the Hades League on March 17th. He was I think that was like a 6th round pick, maybe early 5th, I can't remember. And I was just shocked by it. But I like Kyler a lot too, guys. I like Kyler a lot too. And I actually just bought Justin Jefferson in the auction draft that we had on Monday. Let me tell you guys something. When you do auction drafts, people say that the trade activity after an auction draft is way higher than a standard startup. I can absolutely attest to that. That is so true. We've probably had 30... I know this sounds crazy. Okay, I don't want to be like hyperbolic. We've probably had... It's semantics. Anyway, that's... Very few of you would know the inside of that. We've probably had 25 Dynasty trades since the startup. It's truly been wild to see. This was one of the trades that I made. Upgrading to Justin Jefferson. Using that 106, 108 and my second next year. I like the squad that we've got, but trades are rampant. And the reason I even talked about that is because Justin Jefferson, I think, is due for a big bounce back. And I'm excited to see. I know it sounds weird, but I'm excited to see what Kyler Murray looks like in that offense with Justin Jefferson as an option to throw the ball to. Okay, so we do have Tutin, Adams, the 110, the 111, Derrick Henry, Gadsden, Michael Wilson, Harvey, and Daniel Jones off the board. Yeah, Jed, let me know what you think. Let me know what you think. Exactly, cool, man. It's all semantics. It's all semantics, guys. Ben says, any worry about how Kyler historically has had extremely simple offenses? If there's anybody who can extract the most out of a player, it's Kevin O'Connell. I know that sounds weird after we all watched how bad J.J. McCarthy was last year. But we just have far greater history of quarterbacks getting their absolute best out of the Minnesota offense with KOC out of themselves than the opposite. McCarthy really, if you look at KOC's time in Minnesota, he is really the one failure. No disrespect to him, but it's true. McCarthy is really the one failure. So, yeah. Me too. Let's go. I'm hopelessly semantic. Okay. The 112 just came off the board, and I think this is where I'll grab Malik Willis. I was going to see how far I could push him down in the 9th round. We'll take that. I'm actually pretty hyped about this team. Daniels, Willis. I don't love quarterback too, obviously. But then you've got Hampton, J-Mo, Olave. Sorry, I meant Hampton, Javonte, Olave, J-Mo, Fannon. And then I guess we'd be flexing the 104 2 in. It's not a bad start there. Not a bad start. Yeah. Look, if you're rebuilding, I don't think it's... Jefferson's a hard player if you're not a contender right now. I think he's a really good buy for contenders, which is what I am in this league. But I would say, if you're a rebuilder, it's a tricky spot because I think he will regain his alpha status in fantasy football. At the same time, you know, he is approaching 27. And when players hit 27, there's just this mental switch in dynasty mindsets where, you know, people really, they just view a player differently. I know that sounds silly, but it's true. I never thought to do this. Do you guys like this view better? Is this view better or worse, where like my face is on the right side instead of at the top? I never really thought to even try this, but is this better or worse? I want to hear from you. D Macy says, are you going live for the NFL draft? Probably not this year. There's just so many. I'll be honest with you guys. There's a couple reasons why I probably won't go live this year. Number one, I want to put all my effort and attention to right after the rounds finish, going live on this channel and doing rookie drafts. That's number one. I'll take George Kittle here. Number two, there are so many programs that do great draft programs. You know, I mean, the Pat McAfee show, NFL, ESPN, like there's so many different people that do great programs that I almost feel like I do a disservice to the people watching me because I don't have that type of ability right now. Would love to do something bigger in the future. And then, you know, on that first point, I want to be ready to go, locked in so right after round one finishes, I'm live on this channel and we're jumping in to rookie drafts together and reacting to it all. And then the last thing I'll say is, and by the way, after the NFL draft concludes, like the last day, we'll have a real rookie draft in a real league that night, which would be very fun. The last thing I'll say is, like, being fully transparent, it's not that I haven't enjoyed the NFL draft. I really have enjoyed every draft that we've been live. I just think it's hard to to be live that long and waiting on information, if that makes sense. And I want to take one draft where I kind of sit down and watch it. But okay, guys, that's your last chance to get into today's giveaway. We are going to give away a live team playbook. All you have to do to enter is simply like the stream, then type our code word today, which is Achilles. Why is the code word Achilles? Well, and not too long from now, we're going to raffle off the remaining spots to the Achilles League, which is our latest league on landleagues.com. This league will draft Monday night. Monday night, this league will draft. We have 5 spots remaining to raffle off. So just be aware of that, y'all. I appreciate that, Macy. I appreciate you big time. The Emmanuel Forbes reaction, yeah. I got to be honest. Yeah, that was one of the most difficult draft moments for me, seeing Emmanuel Forbes get drafted over Christian Gonzalez. I was thoroughly upset. What's up, Jaden? He says, what is the Land League's website? So, I'll show you. I'll put a link straight in the chat. It says get into a Land League. Landleagues.com. Basically, this is a one-stop shop for all Dynasty Land Community Leagues. Okay? Every Monday, there's a brand new league that you can be a part of. If you become an annual member, then, you know, with the code LAND, you have to use the code LAND. This is only for LAND members. Then you get a fast track into the latest league. But beyond that, you can join any league you want moving forward. Well, you can enter the drawing for any league you want moving forward, right? We also have the ability for you to join our orphan wait list. So if you want to take over teams that people are going to abandon, I'll be honest with you guys, in our land leagues in particular, that rarely happens just because people really enjoy being a part of them. But yeah, So you can follow these steps 1 to 4. You can get a guaranteed spot into our next league. But the Achilles League is going to be drawn up here very soon. But again, have to be a promo code land annual Mother Flocker member. It is one of those exclusive perks that, you know, I've kind of built this whole website out specifically for you guys who are supporting me. And that's the kind of things I want to do for the people who support me. I want to continue to do everything I can to give you the best possible perks in return. So yeah, let me know if that makes sense, if you got any questions. Okay. We are going to do this giveaway. We've got 36 entries. 36 entries. Maybe I should create like a custom spin the wheel app or something. Okay, I have this crazy idea. This might throw the stream off and some people might be bored. I have this crazy idea. I want to run it by you guys. I don't even know if it's possible yet, but if I were to build out this system where instead of me just randomly doing like a wheel for each winner, what if I did this? Okay. What if I built out a system where you enter the giveaway, and then what happens is whoever wins the drawing, they jump into a game on the stream versus me. And if they beat me in the game, let's say it's like a trivia of fantasy football or something. If you beat me, then you win the team playbook. Would that be more entertaining? Because it's an idea that I've had that I want to build out. And I'm just wondering if that would be fun or not. I think it would be fun. Okay. I have thought about this idea, Papa Dunk. I have thought about this. The relegation part is hard, and it gets a little messy. So yeah. Michael says, I messaged you on Discord. Sign up for Achilles through that link you sent. Okay. If you've signed up, then you should automatically... What was your username on the Flock site, Mark? Because I know we've got at least 7 people already in. But some people haven't checked their Discord DMs. Cool Man says that would be sick, but you would kill me in trivia. I don't think I would. I'm not as good at trivia as people think I am. We'll copy these entries here. Obviously, like I'll put my ability to research the game versus anyone, but like on the fly recollection, I don't think I'd be as good as other people. Proper. Yes, proper. Yeah. No, proper. I've got you locked in. Don't worry, my friend. You're already locked in. You've got a spot there. Brizzleton says, sounds interesting idea, but I can see you winning 80% of the time. Why do you guys think I'm so good at trivia? I'm honestly not that good at like I wouldn't say I'm a good trivia player. Like I'm informed and I do my research on all NFL and fantasy football, but it's typically not all off the top of my head, you know. So what about this? If I beat you, you get a trade question voucher. If you beat me, you get a team playbook. Because to be honest, I'm worrying about how many team playbooks we got piling up as we're getting closer to the NFL draft. I have a feeling during the draft, I'm going to be live for like 6 hours a day doing playbooks. Okay. All right. This is to win a live team playbook. Customize a view of your Dynasty football team. It is beautiful. It is pretty. It is customized to your team. So let's go ahead and spin the wheel. Okay. Here we go. Spinning the wheel. Our winner for today for a live team playbook is Ingies. What's up, Ingies? Send me a DM, my friend, on Discord. I'll make sure and hook you up and get you that live team playbook. Of course, you've already got an account on the site. You're already a member. Jeb says, Zach's trying to shark us like he did with the Atlas auction draft. Guys, I promise you, I'm not that good at trivia. I probably trivia 2010 onwards, anything fantasy football I'd be good at, but we could do random trivia too. I don't think I'd be as good as you guys are thinking. Okay. So we officially have 5 spots to raffle off in the Achilles League. I haven't had a chance to show you guys this feature yet. So I'm excited to show you this feature. This is... I don't want to show people's personal information, so let me make sure I'm real zoomed in here. Okay, cool. So this is what the dashboard looks like on the back end for me. I'm going to go ahead and pick winners. It'll automatically pick the... you guys can see this. I need to move my screen here a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to click this pick winners button. It's a button that I built out. All the people who are fast tracked are already in. But we have, I think, 5 remaining spots. Oh, you know what, though? I need to do something real fast because I don't think Rowan has actually physically signed up for this league. And he is a commissioner. Yeah, we don't have Rowan actually signed up. Let me quickly sign up for Rowan and mark him off as in. Sorry, gang. I should have asked him to do that. Okay. Let me refresh this because I don't want to give someone a guaranteed spot that is actually not available. Do you guys know what I mean? Okay, Rowan is fast tracked. Okay. So we have 5 remaining spots. I would hate to have like told one of you that you were in and in fact you actually weren't. All right. Here we go. 5 remaining spots. I'm going to go ahead and click pick winners. And this is a new kind of like, you know, fun little thing that I've built out. Instead of the little wheel of you know, spinning the wheel and we do 1 by 1, it's a different experience and it's a little bit quicker. So here we go. Let's go ahead and pick winners for the Achilles League. We've already got our locked in winners there with Fryer and Cam, Tsunami, Poophead, Try Me Bro, C. Ramirez. But we've got Mills who's in there, Ben Fried who's in there, Official, Sparrow 86, and who gets the last spot? The last spot goes to Rye Herd JM. So those are our official winners. It's fun to actually use this feature. I wasn't able to use the feature last week because the league filled in like 30 hours. But those are our winners for today. The good news is it will automatically give me 2 alternates. If any of these guys, let's say, end up not being, we can't get a hold of them or something comes up in their life or whatever, it gives me 2 alternates to reach out to automatically. So those are our winners. If you won today, congratulations. Apparently Sparrow called it. He said, I'm getting it. He spoke it into life. He spoke it into life and he won the league. So those are our winners. I appreciate everybody who signed up. Obviously, every Monday, there'll be a brand new league for you guys to be a part of that is run well, that you can guarantee that you can be a part of and that it will matter. We've got a couple alternates on the back end, so we will reach out to you if you end up being an alternate. Appreciate you guys big time. That's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, cool. We've got 12 spots there. Expect a DM on Discord from Rowan within the next 24 hours, and he'll make sure and get you into the Achilles League. Appreciate y'all big time. Michael says, finally have a chance to smash Sparrow in a league. Let's go. Brizzleton says, much faster, takes away the suspense of waiting each spin. Jared says, I'm Ryan. It pains me to say I'm switching to nights week and can't draft. Go ahead and give my spot away to the first alternate. Okay, so we've got... Can you just send me a Discord on DM? So I... Can you just send me a DM on Discord so I have... I remember that, Ryan. If you could do that, that would be... I would really appreciate that so I can make sure and let Rowan, our commissioner, know. Cool. All right, guys. We are going to jump into some team playbooks here, but first we will do some trade questions. If you want to get your team review tonight, if you want to get a trade question looked at, then it's the same link. It's in the pinned comment there for you guys in the chat. But let's start with Zell, who has a trade question here. Would you send away Drake London for Trey McBride in a tight end premium? I wonder if Zell's with us because this really comes down to the premium. We don't know what the premium is. It's a 10-team start 10. Smaller league is maybe going to make me lean tight end here. If you made this move, you'd start Jalen Hurts, Kyler Murray, Bijan Taylor, Olave Egbuka, McBride, and then you would probably flex Wilson, Burden, Dobbins. Yeah, I'm fine to take the Trey McBride side of this. Obviously, the bigger the premium, the more comfortable I am taking Trey McBride. I mean, just hypothetically, let's say if it's only like a 0.25, I might actually prefer, you know, the London side. But anything 0.5 and above, especially in a small league, I'll take Trey McBride there. All right, Chief Keith in the building. He is sending away McCaffrey, McConkey in the 201 for Devon Achane. Seems like a pretty heavy price. I do love Devon. If you made this move, you would be starting in a Superflex Start 9 small lineup. You'd be starting Drake May, Trevor Lawrence, Achane, Javonte, Rice Egbuka. Dude, I don't know about this, man. I don't think you have the lineup to go all in on a player like that. Your receiver room is not strong enough to just tack Lad McConkey onto a deal, I don't think. Like, I would pretty confidently be willing to do this deal if instead of McConkey, you could do even Travis Hunter. I like Travis Hunter, but Travis Hunter, Wan'Dale Robinson, even DK Metcalf, I'd be willing to do instead. I think McConkey is just a little bit too much for me. You don't have the strongest depth to make a move like this. And then you're using assets when, like, your tight end room is actually, like, you have guys, and it's not a weak tight end room, but there are still, like, some question marks. So it's a small lineup. I'm overall, like, on board to pursue this, but I think McConkey needs to be someone else. So I'm close, but I think there's a counter there for you. Scott, what's up, Scott? So Scott says he countered with this. Do I ask for DJ on top? So Scott would be sending Trevor Lawrence in the 104 for Ashton Genty. It's in a 12-team Superflex Start 11. That's a big lineup. That's a big lineup, y'all. If you made this deal, you'd be starting Caleb and Dart. Then Genty, Henderson, probably. You better have a good receiver room here, man. That running back room is rough. London, Rice, Bowers. That would make 7. You still need to start 4 more players. Those 4 would be Egbuka. Probably have to be Pearsall, Downs. I like this idea. I think Genty is the more valuable piece. But your depth is going to be shot to hell if you do this. Yeah, what could you said he has DJ. Let's see. He's got DJ Moore. Huh. What picks do you have? You've only got the 204 outside of this. I would love to get DJ in this deal. Like, if you added a Tony Pollard, would he do that type of counter? I'm just throwing out hypotheticals here. I'm just curious to know, like, how far could you stretch it? Can you add the 204 and get DJ Moore? That's probably a pretty fair compromise. I think that's actually probably the fairest compromise. But overall, I think Ashton Genty is worth it. But I do think I would want to counter it if possible. All right, we've got one playbook in the queue here. Risker says, for the last trade, you said you'd rather put in Travis Hunter. With today's news. Yeah, we actually talked about that a couple times on the stream already, Risker. But I would say today's news hasn't really changed anything for me. I like DJ. I think he's a great buy for contending rosters. If you're a contending roster and you have that 110, 111, 112, and you need a flex, I think DJ's the best guy to go out there and grab. Okay. I am going to get into Abe's team playbook here. Absolutely no pressure whatsoever. I'd love to have lunch with my wife, but after this, clearly I have a queue that's open and ready to go. If you want to get your team playbook, you want to get a review of your Dynasty football team, customized by myself with the playbook, then you can use the promo code LAND, become an annual Mother Flocker member. That will give you a free voucher through the store. Alternatively, you can go to the a la carte store, remember a different promo code, and purchase a team review there. There are 3 options when you purchase your team review. All annual Mother Flocker members have a live team playbook voucher by default. However, they can upgrade as a annual member to the Priority Pass or the Pro Pass. And obviously, the Pro Pass doubles your playbooks. So you guys can see exactly what the terms kind of look like there for the Pro Pass. This is kind of the newest product that we've offered this year. Essentially, it takes your playbook and doubles it for a small upgrade. Obviously, that voucher that you get from the Pro Pass can't be, then turned into another Pro Pass, but your annual Mother Flocker membership, absolutely, you can upgrade it. So those are the options. But let's go ahead and let's jump into Abe's team review here. Abe, I appreciate you being a member. I appreciate you supporting LAND, keeping the lights on. Very, very kind of you, my friend. You are currently ranked, let's see, Methylex is ranked 6th. Your format, you are in a start 10. So that's a Superflex start 10, which is our middle ground roster here. Let's see, at quarterback, they've got, the site has you ranked 2nd at quarterback, 12th at running back, 5th at wide receiver, and 4th at tight end. You said made the playoffs but got bounced in round 1 last year. There is no one on the waiver wire. 32-man rosters with the taxi squad. Damn, that sucks. Look, I just prefer waiver wire to mean something. I really want to hang on to my 27 picks. Rookie draft is 8 rounds. Abe, an 8-round rookie draft? Bro, you got to talk to your league. Like, I don't mind if you send this clip directly to them and tell them to watch this. Guys, 8-round rookie draft? Are you kidding me? In the 4th round this year, you're going to be drafting practice squad players. In any draft, the 5th round are guys that are probably going to be working at McDonald's. 8 rounds? Why are you wasting your time and everyone's time? That's crazy. You should not have an 8-round rookie draft. That's genuinely way too long. Way too long. And your rosters are already way too big, y'all. I mean, when Mesalex has Cooper Rush, Jared Stidham, Marcus Yarns, Ty Chandler, Cam Akers, all these guys rostered, then your waiver wire is too big, is too small. Your leagues are your roster sizes are too big. I'm sorry. It's just true. It's just true. Way too big. Abe says, I know we are degenerates. Yeah, but you don't want to make the waiver wire useless. The waiver wire should be worth something. You know what I mean? Anyway, let's have a look at the team. Your untouchables are Lamar Jackson. Let's see here. Hold on. Lamar Jackson. You don't really have another untouchable. That's really your only untouchable there. And right now, I would like to hold... Who would I like to hold here? I'd say Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt is a good hold. Who else? Ricky Pearsall. Those are probably my favorite holds on this team. Just making sure I haven't missed anyone. Elijah Arroyo as well. I definitely think he's worth holding. And the last thing that I would say here is Luther Burden. Just because Luther Burden, I still think there's a ceiling there. A lot of people disagree. They think he's a sell high, but I think there's a ceiling there that we haven't reached just yet. Look, man, like I've got a feature on the team playbook which talks about drops, right? You'll see like on the left side screen there. you know, you could put almost half your roster on drops, but Cooper Rush is a name I would add there. Marcus Yarns, I would add there. I would add Ty Chandler. I would add, if I can only do 4, Donovan Edwards. I mean, I would add even more if I could add more, but that's the top 4 there. Unfortunately, on the waiver wire, there is a couple interesting, like George Halani, I think is worth a roster spot there. And Jerome Ford. I think both of those guys are worth adding. Definitely over like about 10 of the names that you have rostered there. But that's really it. No one else is worth looking at seriously. In my opinion, at least. Okay. Let's give your team a grade right now. Look, I got to be honest. I don't think your team is very good. It's not that it's bad. This is just it's not a championship contending roster. It really isn't. I'm shocked that you made the playoffs last year. I'm wondering how you did. Like, it must have been JCM, Chuba, Rico combo. But Rome was injured. Marvin wasn't good. Lamar was injured. I'm shocked that you made the playoffs. What's up, Ian? She says, if I purchase a team playbook, will it be reviewed tonight? Absolutely. To be clear, let me clarify, guys. All of these options are live team playbooks. Okay. They're all live. It's just there are different offerings. The priority pass skips the queue. The pro pass doubles your playbook. So even if you get a live playbook, the tier 1 product, it will be reviewed tonight. But Ian, I would really suggest, if you're not a member yet on the site, a membership is far better bang for your buck than buying a playbook outright. When you become an annual Mother Flocker member with my code LAND, you get the playbook, the live version by default. You get 6 trade question vouchers. So when you finish the review, you can come back on the stream and ask any questions after I review your team. Get the rookie report, LAND leagues access, Discord. That's just one. There's a lot of perks that are available to members that are not available to non-members. So I would really say, yeah, no matter what, no matter how you buy it, I'll review it tonight. But I'm just saying it's better bang for your buck as a member. Completely up to you how you want to do it, though. Okay. Draft capital grade, I'd probably give like a C+. So I would say probably like C+ right there. No worries, Ian. Yeah, plenty of people do that. That sounds good, my friend. Overall team grade as of today. Yeah, again, like thinking about your starting 10, it's Lamar, Nix, I guess Chuba, Dowdle, T. Higgins, Odunze, Warren, and then you're flexing Burden, Flowers, Marvin. You know what? I've been a little too harsh on this team. This is not a terrible team. I just don't think you're a serious contender. What would I rate this team? I think a proper grade would be B-. I think B- is fair. I will say I struggle with the lack of draft capital. I really struggle to see how you fix that running back room. You've got a lot of young pieces. I think I'm going to suggest a 1-year punt, and I don't know 1-year punt. I don't know if that is where you want to take this, but to be honest, I think that's probably where I would take it if I had your team. I think you could sneak into the playoffs, but I don't think you're a serious contender. I really don't. So yeah, that's probably where I would take this. Let's jump into the chalkboard. Okay. And let's kind of break this down a little bit more. So starting off with Lamar Jackson. This is a guy that we're going to want to tear down from if possible. If the right deal isn't out there, then you don't have to tear down from him right now. You can also do it in season. We're going to try to tear down from Lamar Jackson. I would say in season, there will be some trades that we'll try and accomplish that we probably can't accomplish right now. That's primarily going to be your running backs. So Who did you have? I know you had a, what was it? Chuba Hubbard was one of those names. The other name was Rico Dowdle. That was another name that we were going to look to sell. Aaron Jones isn't worth much, but like let's add Aaron Jones to the list there. What do you guys think about this? I'm using a text, a talk to text tool right now. I don't know if you notice I'm not typing. I'm trying to see how it goes, but I think it might make our reviews a little smoother here. Okay, I think T. Higgins you could sell, and I don't think you really have to wait. T. Higgins, I would be willing to sell. Who else? You had Jake Ferguson. Yeah, Jake Ferguson. I'd be willing to sell as well. So I think what we should focus on is a tier down from Lamar Jackson. So let's find a team that would want to tier up to Lamar. And by the way, like you don't have to only get a young quarterback. Let's say we tier down to Jared Goff. You can then sell Jared Goff later on if you want to. But this guy has no firsts, so I will admit it would be hard to make a deal with him. He doesn't have a lot of young players that I'd want to make a trade for. This guy, however, does have some firsts. We could go Baker Mayfield, a 27 first. And maybe a Bashul Tootin. And then you could try and sell Tootin. So Baker Mayfield plus a 27 first plus Bashul Tootin. I think that is probably our best bet with that team. It's not a perfect deal, I will say. But I think it could work. Okay, let's go to another team. And then what my goal would be is to sell Baker for a 27 first. So then you're basically getting 2 firsts and 2. And that's not enough. That's not enough. Let's be real. There's just no one on this team that I like, though. I mean, you're not going to get Jefferson. Yeah, you might also need to ask for a 28 first on top. Yeah, it might have to look like that. Okay. Surely there's a better team out there, though. Let's keep looking. Trevor Lawrence. I don't know where these 26 firsts are, Abe. So you'll have to let me know. Just tell me who has the top 5 26 firsts. If that makes sense. Okay. Brock Purdy would be great, actually. I would love like a Purdy, Judkins, and a first. Ooh. Brock Purdy plus Quinshawn Judkins plus a 2027 first. I like this a lot. That's probably perfect because you get to add a running back. You get the quarterback that you can still build around. And yeah, I mean, that's honestly ideal, I would say. Okay. Not going to do it for Stafford. Burrow doesn't make sense. Jane Daniels is too expensive. Justin Herbert might be too expensive. Yeah, I don't think that team makes sense, unfortunately. Dak Prescott. No, there's not a deal there that makes sense. Ugh. I don't mind Kyler. What is this guy's picks? The guy who has Kyler Murray, what are his 2026 picks? Yeah, let me know what his 2026 picks are. Because if we can do like a Kyler, Tetaroa, and one of those 26 picks, let me just set this up in case. Kyler Murray plus Tetaroa McMillan. You know, if we can get some package here for Lamar, then this could actually end up panning out well for you. He has the 107. Okay, and the 102. So we want the 102 Tet McMillan. And honestly, he can keep Kyler Murray in this example. But we would also ask for... Well, if he can give us Kyler, we would take Kyler. If not, we probably want that 27 first. 27 first. And then maybe we can offer him back another contending piece like, you know, does Rico Dowdle get it done? If Rico Dowdle doesn't get it done, then I wonder if we can... I don't know. Say Jake Ferguson. If either of those get it done, then I think that would be a great deal for you. Okay. Let's see. How about Sugar? Oh, Jackson Dart would be awesome. What's the first for this guy who has Jackson Dart? What's his first round pick? That could be really intriguing. Dart, but either way, like Dart and 2 firsts would be a no-brainer. Jackson Dart plus 2 27 firsts. You know, I like this personally. That would be great for you, by the way. For T. Higgins, we'll take any future first. That's not a question. That's a statement. For Jake Ferguson, we will take multiple future seconds. Okay. And then in season with Chuba Hubbard, you know, ideally, obviously we would take like any future first. I don't think he's going to be worth that. If you can't get that, which is likely, then we'll take an early future second. For Dowdle, I think he's pretty much the same prices, honestly. I think he would be the same prices as Chuba Hubbard. I doubt you're going to get a first for him. It's just probably not realistic. And then Aaron Jones, I would say multiple thirds is what you'd be hoping to net from him. Let me know if that makes sense. Let me know if there's any questions that you have that I wasn't able to answer, but I definitely think if you try and compete this year, the roster will be fine, but you might make the playoffs, but you're not a serious contender. You know, I mean, you're not going to beat this team. You're not going to beat team 2. You're not going to beat team 3 even. Definitely not team 4. That running back room is just not strong enough. Definitely not team 5. Team 5 is a good team. So, Abe, any questions? Any questions for me? And honestly, what I would say, Abe, is there has got to be, absolutely has to be, a change in your league settings. I'm sorry. You have got to give more life to the waiver wire. Way too many roster spots, dude. Way too many roster spots. All right, if you guys just watched that team review, and Abe, let me know if you got any final questions there. What did you think about the voice of text? You know, I thought it worked pretty well. When I was doing the trade ideas on the chalkboard, I liked it. I appreciate you, Abe. We're gonna obviously go to our next playbook here. We just had one that was submitted. The site is going to help. Okay, we're gonna do it. We got a trade question from Proper, and then Moon just submitted a team playbook. I'm assuming that's you, Ian. Abe says, I sold off the 26 first for Zay. What was the pick that you sold for? Out of curiosity. Jaden says, question, do you have an uploading schedule? Are there specific days of the week you post on? Yeah, at the moment, Jaden, I'm posting on the Dynasty channel every Monday and Wednesday for you guys. That's been my schedule for the majority of this season for y'all. But that will change when we get closer to June, July. 107, I like that. Yeah, I like the 107 over, or Zay over the 107. Even if you keep him in season, I think he's got a chance to improve value on that. But Jaden, if you don't want to miss a video, you can also just turn notifications on YouTube and then turn notifications on for the channel. That's probably the best way. Cool. All right. Appreciate you. Proper with a trade question here. Let's go ahead and answer Proper's trade question. So Proper is sending away Neighbors and a Dunze for Jamar Chase. It's a Superflex 12-team start 10. Wow. Teams aren't linked, unfortunately. I would have really, Proper, I'll be honest, I would have really loved to have seen the rest of your team here, because remember, I can't remember exactly everyone's team's details when I go back and look at a team that I reviewed, but I would have really loved to have seen the rest of the team. Is Proper on the channel? Are you watching? Let me know if you're here, Proper. Oh, you're here? I'm going to give you... Is it cool if I give you a free voucher to resubmit this? I want you to resubmit this with your team linked, because I want to look at the rest of your team. And I'm going to look at this right after Moon's review. Is that cool? Because I think I need to have more context to give you a good answer. All right, we got Moon here and Shane. We got a couple people joining the queue for tonight's stream. You love to see it. Like I said, y'all still have, space for tonight's stream. If you want to get your team playbook in, y'all know the deal by now. You can either use a promo code LAND, become an annual Mother Flock member, or you can go through the a la carte store on the Flock Fantasy website to submit a team review. Appreciate y'all being here. The three options you've got there. The Pro Pass doubles your playbooks, the Priority Pass skips the queue, and the Live Team Playbook is the default one. It just basically says, yes, your review will be live streamed, okay? Okay, let's go to Moon, and I believe this is Ian. Ian, let me know if you're here with me. I appreciate y'all hanging out, and thanks for letting me look at the team, man. I'm glad I'll be able to bring my perspective, and it's always good to get multiple perspectives on your teams if you're not sure exactly where to take it. So I'm glad to be able to have a look, man. So team name is Ian K24. This is a 1 quarterback 12 team start 8. So I got to keep that in mind. That's a small starting lineup for the majority of dynasty leagues I look at, right? So that's a meat and potatoes lineup. You've got 2 flex spots there. Meat and potatoes, it's basically like a way for me to relate to like a start 8. It's not very, very big. It's very small. It's a simple lineup. And you're currently ranked first, by the way, on the Flock Fantasy site with my rankings, which the site has you first at quarterback, second at running back, first at receiver, and fourth at tight end. Oh my gosh. This looks like we might have a good team here. Before I even look at it, let's read. He said, last season was my first year of Dynasty. After about 25 trades of 5 to 10% value increase each, I arrived at this team. I lost in the championship last season due to towing the line between assets and production. I'd appreciate your insight on fully committing to contention. Is there any areas I can pivot? Okay, we've got the 105 and the 102, which is great because, my gosh, you've already got one hell of a roster. I mean, my goodness. Obviously, quarterback. Wait, it's a 1 quarterback. I was about to say quarterback 2, but it's a 1 quarterback league. Dude, this is a monster team. My goodness, you must be very proud of this team. We can definitely make sure that we're doing everything we can to go all in. Just straight out the bat. First thing I'm going to say is I would call your team, like your pathway, windows open. And I would say that because you don't have a first in 2027. You don't even, you own basically none of your picks in 2027. Like, I can't see on the site what your picks in 28 beyond look like. But without any picks in the future, you need to do everything you can to go out there and compete. So that should actually say windows open. I apologize. But your starting lineup would be Allen, then Gibbs, McCaffrey, Chase, Puka, Warren. That's 6. Then you're flexing Neighbors and London. On your bench is Judkins. Dude, this is ridiculous. Also have 228 first in your asset pool. That's, wow. This is a nice team, man. I think I would give you a solid A. I think you're an A. Definitely an A roster. I can't give you A+. I only reserve A+ for our Thanos teams. I couldn't call you a Thanos. Thanos is just where, you know, there's no hope for anybody else. You've collected all the gemstones. You know, your running back room isn't there yet for a Thanos, neither tight end room, but this is one hell of a team, my friend. So you should be very, very proud of this one. Okay, untouchables. How much time do we have? You know, your untouchables are Jahmyr Gibbs, Jamar Chase, Puka Nacua, Malik Neighbors. All of those are, in my opinion, absolutely untouchables. You do not move them. And it's a small starting lineup as well, so why would you? You know what I mean? Like, why would you want to move these guys? You've already got enough players to fill your lineup. You've got superstars across the board. You've got enough depth. I don't see why you would even move any of those names. You want to have hammers in a small league like this, and you've got hammers. I would hold George Kittle. I would also hold Jack Besh. I think both of those guys are worth holding. Not that Kittle's value could improve, but if Kittle is healthy and ready to go, you know, you might actually find yourself starting him over Tyler Warren this year. If you want to drop anyone, you could drop Ben Sinnott. He is really the one name that I would say I'd be willing to drop. You know, if you have to drop another person, Will Shipley. I don't think you will need to, based off the way I'm going to do this review. On the waiver wire, wow. Okay, Kyler Murray is there. Let's pick up Kyler Murray for sure. And that would mean I would probably drop Darnold. I would be willing to drop Darnold if you need to clear space to pick up Kyler Murray. At running back, I would absolutely pick up Jonathan Brooks. He is someone that should 100% be rostered, my friend. Okay. Great team. Fantastic team, some people might say. Let's jump into the chalkboard. The war room. This is where we kind of come up with a game plan for your rookie draft. And Ian is here. He says, brother, get me to Thanos with your trade suggestions and I'll circle back. Yeah, we'll do our best. That's the goal, right? Look, if I'm you, I don't personally see a reason to draft these rookies in 2026. I don't know if that's shocking to hear. Like, I'm not sure. Like, obviously, if you stick and pick, then it's going to be one of, you know, Carnell Tate, Mekhi Lemon, or Jordan Tyson. That's probably what you're drafting there. And the 105 in a non-superflex league is really outside of the range of players that we love. There's not even a tight end premium here. So I couldn't even claim, like, well, at least Sadiq will make the 105 more valuable. Not really. In a league like this with no tight end premium, that 105 is not going to hold a lot of value. You would add a Boston, Cooper, Concepcion, Sadiq, one of those names. I just don't think that's going to be the difference between you winning a championship and not. So I want to use the 102, and ideally, I'd love to buy a running back or upgrade somewhere else. So, for example, you add a James Cook here. That will be great. I mean, imagine that with that running back room. You could also look at like a Jonathan Taylor. I will explore the idea, you know, of an Achane, a Hampton. When we go to the chalkboard, you're going to have to pay more than the 102, though, to get to those names. The 105, I would be curious to see if you can use the 105, you know, like plus Tyler Warren. You know, can that get you to a tight end upgrade? So you don't have a need for a lot of depth in this league. Obviously, you don't want to be completely barren of depth because injuries are going to occur. But I think across the board, I would just try and have the best possible team I could here. So with that in mind, I think we should jump to the chalkboard and come up with some ideas for you, my friend. For example, that 102. 102, 105. 102, 105. Those are the two assets that we are going to play around with here. Okay. And you let me know, like, did you want to actually draft rookies here? I'm not telling you that you can't. There's nothing wrong if you're like, dude, I love Carnell Tate. I love Mekhi Lemon. I want to use the 102 on that. I am not going to hold that against you. I just wouldn't care about the rookies. I mean, look at the team. All I want to do is have the best possible team. You're already very, very close. So, like we said, can you spend that 102 on a James Cook? Can you spend that 102 on a Jonathan Taylor? Imagine adding those two running backs to this team. Then you have Josh Allen, Gibbs, Cook, Chase, Puka, Warren, Neighbors, London. And then you can decide if you want to ever play McCaffrey, Judkins. You're probably going to play McCaffrey, right? Now, what I would love to do is actually package the 102 plus the 105. And I want to see, can I get to the Devon Achans? Can I get to Amarion Hampton? Now, what if I use those two picks plus Christian McCaffrey, for example, and can I land a Bijan? Can you use both of those picks to tier up to the 101 without CMC? Would that net you the 101? Some leagues, the 101 is cheap. I mean, you couldn't get the 101 for that price in my league. But imagine adding Jeremiah Love here. Then you've got Josh Allen, Gibbs, Love. You still keep Judkins and McCaffrey in that scenario. I mean, shoot. Let's see who has a 101 because I'd be willing to even offer more. Okay, so they have... Yeah. There's not a perfect fit here with this team, but I was going to say, like, you could do maybe a Kittle-Ferguson swap if it entices them. I'd hate for you to lose Kittle, but I would do it to make this deal work. Or, sorry, you're sending George Kittle. And you're getting back Jake Ferguson. So, again, prefer not to do that. But if it nets you the 101, then why the hell wouldn't we? But let's keep digging here as well. Because if we want to go even harder, we're probably going to have to use Judkins. But that might land you a Bijan Robinson. Yeah, either CMC or Judkins. If that lands you a Bijan, then you can put Gibbs and Bijan out there and still have one of the other two as your RB3. And the great news, man, is if any injuries happen, you have so many receivers that you can tear down off of. If you let's say Gibbs and Bijan both get injured, well, you already have Judkins and McCaffrey anyway. But let's say both of them get injured and Neighbors get injured or whatever. You can tear down off of Chase pretty easily and continue competing like you haven't even, skipped a beat. Okay, Tyler Warren. What I would like to do is package him with the 105. Can I get to a Brock Bowers? Can I get to a Trey McBride? Right? That's where I would be trying to get to. Ian says, the guy with Bijan and the 101 did a blockbuster swapping them. They said they need a haul. Do you mind showing me the absolute max you'd spend for those two players? Bijan and the 101? Yeah. The most I would spend on Bijan. Let's take the CMC deal. Would I add on to the CMC deal to get Bijan? I would do a swap if he... So he has... Oof, that's tough. This guy should want to trade Bijan. His team is not good enough to have a Bijan Robinson. Respectfully, but... I was going to say we can maybe use one of your receivers to tear down. But you really can't. I mean, you could add Kittle onto this. That's probably the max I would go. You don't have... Wait, you also have a 28 first, don't you? Okay, hold on. You have those 28 firsts? So, I would add a 28 first. 105, 102, 105. Probably wouldn't add CMC in a deal like that if they prefer the first. But I could add, Terrence Ferguson. Robinson for Bijan. That's probably the most I would pay. To be honest, Moon, you don't, being transparent, you don't really need to make a move, man. Like, your team is already stacked out its ass. For the 101, who has a 101? Let's go back and look at that pick. The most I would pay. I would add on top of this like a McCaffrey Flowers swap. The deal that we've already got here, the 102, the 105. I would do like a CMC Christian McCaffrey for a Zay Flowers. I think that is probably where I would push it. You know what? They need a tight end. Wait, no, they don't. Sorry. I wouldn't do like a Laporta Warren swap. Yeah, the hard part is like Ayuk in London is such a steep drop off that you don't have a lot of like mediocre players to move, which is a good place to be. But that's probably the most I would push it to. I like the team a lot. I mean, clearly you've built a monster. A monster. Let me know, Ian, if there's anything I didn't answer. If there's any questions that you've got that you want to run by me. Transparently, this is probably the best team I've seen on stream for at least 3 weeks. And that's saying a lot because we do a lot of teams. We look at a lot of teams. I would be shocked if you don't make the finals this year. So again, in summation, I would not probably, if it was my team, have the intention of drafting these rookie picks. You know, doesn't mean that you can't, but it wouldn't be my goal personally. So Ian says he gave up 4 firsts, one being the 101 to get Bijan. What? He gave up 4 firsts, one of them being the 101. Are you kidding me? Well, then you're not getting Bijan. I'll be honest with you right now, Moon. You're not getting Bijan Robinson then. But maybe that means the 101's undervalued in your league, and you should go trade for the 101. That's wild. Anyway, dude, great team. Like, I'm imagining, let's say, I think my favorite moves for you are this idea of upgrading Tyler Warren and then getting one of these 2 running backs. Imagine this team with James Cook and Trey McBride. I mean, that starting lineup would be Allen, Gibbs, James Cook, Chase, Puka, Trey McBride, Neighbors, London. Oh, and by the way, on your bench is Christian McCaffrey and Quinshon Judkins. That's my ideal outcome for you. Or trading for the 101 would be awesome as well. But yeah, Ian, thanks for letting me review the team, man. I love reviewing you guys' teams and always enjoy kind of putting my spin on it, putting myself in your shoes. Let me know if you got any final questions here, and then I'll move on to our next review. But that's a fun one. You will get your playbook, by the way, within the next 3 to 4 business days. He says, appreciate it, man. I'll try to employ these trades. Final question. At what point will my rookie picks be most valuable? The 102 will be the most valuable after the draft, for sure. That is unless the draft goes terribly wrong. The 105, I think in your league, it might stick out like a sore thumb after the draft. But it depends, like if Concepcion goes higher than I think, or Boston, you know. I just think the 105 in particular is very vulnerable in your league with no super flex and no premium on the tight ends. So that's how I would answer that. All right, Shane, I see you here. We are going to quickly get to these trades. Like I said, I'll answer any trades today. I'll go back and forth between the playbooks. Proper. So we've got that same trade that we looked at earlier, but we've got the teams that we can look at now. So if he made this trade, he would be starting, he would have the Burrow Chase stack, but he'd be starting Superflex start 10. Burrow, Williams, Bucky, Travion, Chase, JSN, at tight end Warren. That would be your top 7. You would need 3 more players to flex. The 104. Those 3 players would be Tetaroa, Tootin. I don't know, dude. I got to pull the chat on this one. I don't think you've got the best depth in the world in a league where depth does matter. I mean, really, you're struggling to fill out those flexes if a Travis Hunter, Jaden Higgins, Jalen Coker don't become reliable options to play. If Tootin doesn't live up to the hype, you'd be struggling to fill out those flexes to make this move. Don't forget, pre-injury, Malik Neighbors, some people had him ranked as their wide receiver 1. I'm going to put this to a poll. I want to see what people think. I think it's close, honestly. It's pretty close. That running back room was not as strong as I thought it was going to be. I mean, what happens to this trade in a year's time if Jamar Chase, let's say Jamar Chase scores 21 points per game this year. If Neighbors is at 18, would you have done this trade 1 year ago, hypothetically? Right? Like, what do you think Neighbors is capable of? So I think you could regret this one pretty quickly. But the way that you don't regret it is if Roma Doomsday doesn't break out. You know, if he's an afterthought in the offense, then clearly you wouldn't regret this move. But I can see why he wants to make the move. His team is nowhere near ready to compete. Yeah. We've only had 5 votes in the chat, but all 5 have said the neighbor side. I think that's where I'm gonna stick myself. I mean, I think a counter you could ask for is like, can we get Pickens on this roster? Like, if you were to send Travis Hunter and grab back Pickens, and you have like a 204, you know, could you pull something like that off? That makes me more comfortable. But right now, as it's currently constructed, not a fan. Okay, Mjar, what's up, Mjar? It's a 1 quarterback, 10 team start 8, so small league, small lineup. He says, need picks. I don't trust wide receiver depth. Hendo, 104, 27 first. Not sure what way to go. I want a chip. Please help. So, are you in the chat? Let me know if you are. I'm reading this as sending Burrow and Achane, getting back Henderson, the 104, and a 27 first. Maybe you forgot to add it, or the site glitched. Are you getting a 27 first on top of the Henderson side in this deal? Let me know. You are? Okay. That's a pretty good package for Achane. I'm not saying Burrow doesn't matter in this format, but in a 1 quarterback league, he has far less value, you know, than he would in a super flex. Look, to be honest, this move will not help you win a championship this year. You know, it's not going to help you accomplish that. If you're telling me my goal is to win a championship, well, this isn't going to help you do that. But it's a very good value. If you don't make this trade, you're starting Burrow, Achane, Hall, Chase, Wilson, McBride, and then you have two flex spots to fill, which would be Thomas, Addison, maybe Swift involved. So yeah, I mean, transparently, this move does not help you win a championship this year. It just simply doesn't. But is it good value? Yeah, I'd say it's pretty good value. This is a toughie. What you could do after this. Yeah, like I said, I'm gonna put it. I'm gonna put it to the chat because I think I would sell Achane for this price. But if you're contending, it's not going to help you win this year. It just simply isn't. So again, guys, it's Achane and Burrow or Henderson, the 104, and a first. I don't think it's very easy. I don't think it's an easy answer. It says, I don't love my flex options, and I was also banking on the 104. Yeah, I think you need to ask yourself, if you want to win a championship in this league, you need hammers, like Achane. If you make this deal, yeah, who are you replacing at the 104? It's not a running back. The 104 replaces, what, a depth piece? A depth wide receiver? Flex receiver? The 27 first is impactful, but yeah. That's my... Look, I think it's a relatively fair deal. Again, if you guys are just watching, there should be a 27 first on the Henderson side. But it's not showing up. So I would say it's relatively even. If you're looking to sell Achane, it's a fair price, especially in a small league like this. Will it help you win a championship this year? No, it won't. So overall, I think it's a fair deal on both sides. But if you are actually saying, hey, I want to win a championship, that's my goal, this doesn't help you accomplish that. So you can see the chat is very much split as well on this. But hopefully that's helpful, man. Again, if your goal is to win a championship, then you keep Achane. If you're okay knowing that, hey, I gotta wait on a Henderson breakout and I have these multiple assets to work with, then you can take the package. But no, it won't help you win a championship this year. All right, maybe our last team review of the day. Obviously, I have a queue that you can join if you want to get your team reviewed tonight. You can check out the link in the pinned comment. Let me know if you have any questions. But we have got Shane here. Shane purchased his Pro Pass not too long ago, and now I believe is redeeming the second one. Shout out to you, Shane. Thanks for the love. Thanks for let me review a couple of your Dynasty teams, man. Always have a fun time doing this. Team name is May the Force Be With Us. No worries, man. Appreciate you. Okay, it's a Superflex Start 10. That is our middle ground. So that's a 3 flex league, probably, if not 3 receivers, 2 flex league, but it's decent depth there that you have to account for. You are currently ranked first. And the site has your positions at first at quarterback, third at running back, third at receiver, and 7th at tight end. And Shane says, third year getting a playbook for this team. Pushed the chips in last year, making a move for JSN and fell flat. Looking for advice regarding upgrade at a wide receiver tight end depth, deep rosters. Thanks again. Love the content. Okay, so we've got a couple picks in 2026, but transparently, they're not going to make a big impact on your offseason. It's never been harder to sell second-round picks for any draft class that I can personally remember since doing Dynasty, since being a Dynasty player. You guys can let me know if you remember a different class that might have been harder, but I certainly can't remember a class where it was hard to sell these second-round picks for any value at all. But looking at the starting lineup, you are starting May and Daniels. Wow. Next on the bench. Hampton, Hendo. I like it. Don't love the depth at running back. JSN, Egbuka, Kincaid. And then you are flexing Marvin. And this is where things fall apart. Right? You don't have good flexes. You've got weak depth at running back, wide receiver, and you have no tight end that you can really rely on. But it's a decent team. You have a lot of hammers. The May, Daniels, Hampton, JSN, those 4, are just ridiculous. I would say those are your untouchables. Drake May. After Drake May, Jaden Daniels. You can put JSN. And Amarian Hampton. Hampton hasn't really earned the untouchable tag yet. It's just more of a projection at this point. As far as holds go, Parker Washington, I would hold. Jalen McMillan, I would hold. Those are the main holds I really like on your team. Easy drops. If you need to drop players, oh my gosh. Cameron Johnson, you can let go of with a K. Cameron with a K. I think he's on the Bucks. Last I checked, I don't know who he plays for anymore. Malachi Corley, you can let go of. He's not going to be an important player at any point in the near future. Jalen Polk, I know you're going to hate that, but well, maybe you won't hate that. There's still a Jalen Polk hive out there. And I'm trying to figure out why. Because I could look like an idiot later on. I just don't think he's going to become an important player. Andre Yeshivas, I would also be willing to let go of. I just don't see a scenario in which, even if an injury occurs, you don't even know if you can play the guy. On the waiver wire, there's nothing at all. Your waiver wire is naked. So you don't have to drop these guys if you don't want to. Okay. Overall team grade. I think it's a good team. I would probably put B plus. I think that would probably be my where I would stand. It was between B plus and an A minus, but you still have those top end names. You just need to maybe tear down off of one of these guys. I think you're a contender for sure. We're definitely going to go contender here. No doubt about it in my mind. You don't have a lot of capital this year, unfortunately, to kind of push yourself all in. So that may be the one weak spot of this roster. He says, yeah, waiver is a wasteland. Look, it feels a bit silly for me to even go into the war room. To be honest with you, man. Just because I have no idea who the best player available will be at the 306 or the 406. At the 206, if I were you, you can stick and pick players. I would trade for a vet, for a flex. At that 206 spot, if you were to stick and pick, you're going to get some combination of maybe Skylar Bell, Max Clare, Jeremy Bernard, Ty Simpson. That's probably going to be the lot of the players that you're going to draft. I just don't think someone like you, who clearly could contend, if you can help it, I don't think it's going to benefit you to keep a player like that. So I would say Drake May is a name that I would love to tear down from. He is a name that you can tear down from for a lot more than Jaden Daniels, even though I have them back-to-back. There's just a different consensus opinion on those two names. And I really don't see leverage anywhere else, honestly, man. Like, I don't want to tear down off of Hampton. I don't want to tear down off of JSN. We can explore a JSN tear down. It would break my heart. But there's not an Igbuka tear down option, a Marvin Henderson tear down option. That world just really doesn't exist. So I would say May tear down. It would be my number one goal here to improve the overall depth of the team. At the 206, your dream here is a Devontae Adams, a Mike Evans. Even if you have to add, like, what did you have? You have the 206, the 306 as well. So plus 306. Even if you had to add that, I would comfortably be willing to do that. To add one of these veteran receivers, you definitely need that depth on the team. Okay, again, let's start at Drake May. Let's hope there's a tear down option here. Could we tear down to Trevor Lawrence? Like a Lawrence CD is probably asking too much. What about Trevor Ken Walker? Trevor Lawrence plus Ken Walker. Do you think that's possible in your league? He has the 108 as well. I'm wondering if, like, I don't want to undersell Drake. I don't want to oversell either. I'm wondering if you could do this, and then that 108 is going to give you a lot more leverage to get a veteran that you can flex. Lab McConkey is also Lab McConkey, like he's a dog. Would be interesting. I don't think Burrow Walker... Look, Burrow Walker, if it's possible, I agree. That might be asking too much, though. Maybe if you do Burrow Walker, then you have to remove, like, those picks. But I would do this in a heartbeat. So let's try it 100%. Same thing with, if it's not Ken Walker, then Lab McConkey. I don't want to limit what's possible, so that's on me. I shouldn't limit what's possible. But obviously, both of those really help you. I prefer to get Burrow. Don't know how possible it is. Okay, let's keep looking. Brock Purdy would be so sick. Purdy, Neighbors, or Amon-Ra would just be awesome. Because then you can either keep Amon-Ra or Neighbors or sell them. So, Brock Purdy plus Malik Neighbors. I knew it was going to do that. You could also do, what do we say? ARSB. Amon-Ra St. Brown. Dude, that would be awesome. Brock Purdy is such a good tear down option too. He's so underrated. I'm not going to tear down to Stroud. I don't want to tear down to Love. Could you pull off a Caleb Williams, George Pickens? Is that possible? Caleb Williams plus George Pickens? That would be really cool. Imagine that with your lineup. That'd solve some of your problems. Jackson Dart would be sick. Unfortunately, it would have to be like Jackson Dart, James Cook, Mike Evans. Jackson Dart plus James Cook plus Mike Evans. That's probably what you'd have to get at minimum. And I don't know how feasible that is. Like, you could probably get that for Josh Allen, Drake May. It'll depend on the league. But that would honestly fix a lot of your issues, dude. It's kind of a clutch deal right there. You make that move, you're starting Dart, Daniels, Hampton, Henderson. Sorry, Hampton, Cook, Jason, Egbuka, Kincaid. And then you've got Marvin, Henderson, Evans. There in your flexes. That would be pretty nice. Baker Mayfield we could explore, but we'd want more in return with a Baker Mayfield deal. Baker Mayfield. So we would probably ask. See, for your purposes, trying to contend, I don't think that Jameson versus Mike is going to make a huge difference for what we're trying to achieve. But you could ask for a Chase Brown instead of a Mike Evans. That's pretty hot too. I'm not going to lie. That's a pretty hot deal. Okay, let's keep going. Herbert. Justin Sherbert. There is a tight end premium. What's a premium in this league? Herbert, I don't think you can do Herbert London. Well, look, I will just say this. Justin Herbert plus Drake London. If that's possible, I think it's a no-brainer. Just don't think it's possible. That's my issue with it. Also, Loveland, Herbert, Bucky, London. Justin Herbert plus Bucky Irving plus Colson Loveland. Okay. How could we pull that off? You'd probably have to give your 27 first. Well, he has Kyle Pitts. Could you do this deal where you get Kyle Pitts as well? And you throw back, what was it, your 206 and 306? I don't think Loveland's possible, brother. Yeah. Shuck's too low. Dak, there's not really another name there. Like, I would do Dak and Genty. But, again, hard to say if that's possible. Dak Prescott and Ashton Genty. Close. Goff is I just don't want to do golf Nico when I'm moving Drake. Yeah, it needs to be like a good asset in return. I prefer not to move Jackson Smith and Jigba. I prefer to kind of go this route. Like imagine you were able to pull this off. Okay, so what was our favorite one? The Dart Cook Evans or the Baker Cook Brown, or we talked about, Burrow McConkey. Okay, let's just say you're able to do Dart Cook Mike Evans. Or actually, let's go to the Baker Mayfield route. And again, Shane, while we're here, let me know if you got any questions, because we are getting to the closing part here. But imagine this team lost Drake May in the 206 and the 306. Okay, so you don't have Drake May, but you added Baker Mayfield, James Cook, Chase Brown, and Mike Evans. So then your starting lineup is much better. It is Dart and Nix or Baker Mayfield on the bench. At running back, you're starting Hampton and James Cook. You're starting JSN and Igbuka, Kincaid. So you haven't figured out tight end yet there. But you have 3 flex spots to fill. Henderson, Marvin Harrison, Chase Brown, Mike Evans. That would be great. I would love that. Again, you haven't figured out tight end there. No tight ends on the waiver wire. But I think that's the least of your worries. You try and fill out those flexes. And then in season, can you buy a cheap tight end? Can you send a third for Dallas Goedert and string the position, or a Chigakonkwo? I would say that. That's the last thing I would say here. You want to keep some hammers, so we'll keep JSN. But, can you send a 20-27 third for Chigakonkwo? Hypothetically. Like some cheap fix like that. Yeah. Any final questions there for me, Shane? Let me know. But I like the team. Just got to try and find a way to kind of move some players around. That way you can, have a roster that you can confidently go into the year competing with. But yeah, I appreciate all y'all big time. Thanks for hanging out with me. One thing that I want to quickly note is obviously landleagues.com. If you haven't checked it out yet, definitely would encourage you to go check it out. We will release our next league. We just drawed the Achilles League today. We'll release our next league on Monday. Every Monday night. Just make sure that you've synced up your Discord. So in the Land Leagues tab, when I announce a new league, you guys can be aware of it. But yeah, I appreciate y'all big time. Shane says, yeah, my thought was down tiering Mayor Daniels. Think everyone is concerned with Daniels due to the injuries. Exactly. That's why I didn't suggest Daniels, because I personally think that he's undervalued based off the way some of these real drafts have gone. So yeah, I don't think Daniels is the one that you tear down from if you're going to tear down. But appreciate you big time, Shane. Thanks everybody for hanging out today. Shout out to everybody who made it into the Achilles League. And we will see you guys here next week. Nothing but love. By the way, on Monday, I'm going to drop my final rookie rankings for 2026. When I say final, I mean final pre-draft rookie rankings. So make sure you check that out. And I'll see you guys soon. Nothing but love.